Oh, hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. Oh, what? What am I doing over here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just very distracted from playing this fine quality demo to this game, Super Smash Bros. Being a Nintendo Club Elite member, I have privileges of getting early access, so it's so exciting. I can't.
How did you swing that?
Oh, by shilling out lots of money and buying Nintendo products to build up the points to be granted a week early access to something that everyone's going to get next week anyway. But it's worth it. I'm validated in my choices. You know what else is validation, folks? Tuesdays are validated because we're here. Katie's here.
We are. Hi, guys.
I'm here. And there's a question every time we start the show to make sure that the feed is working. And it's a music question. It involves traditional instruments of my people, even though this is not, in fact, made in Ireland. It's made in Germany. Neither here nor there. How come there's only lag when it's song time? Are you a lag?
Maybe the instrument's complicated. I don't think I'm lagging on purpose.
Ray! What am I doing? Alright. Is it recording?
It's broadcasting.
It's time for
Shanahanigans live.
I'm gonna rewatch this and see if it's just our time recording. If you folks are at home and you're joining us now, and you missed
have to sing. You have to. You have
to sing along. Tell your friends. Tell your family. It's musical time. It's kind of like we have a pub nearby that, like, on Thursdays, it's like, oh, it's Scottish night, and everyone has a flute. You know, bring the family, and friends, and roommates, and enemies all together to the laptop and sing along. Round two. That's It's time for Shanahanigans.
So you don't have to sing so much as yell at the computer. That's what's so great about the theme song.
Kim's going to draw. You're going to draw, right?
Yeah, I'm going to draw.
Silly Kingdom. Can't show anyone anything. Silly Kingdom. Silly Kingdom.
I will. I just got to sort it out.
And Shaggy is going to speak in prose. Possibly. He's really excited for next week when everyone will have access to the demo too soon. Smash Bros.
Nice.
Smash Bros. Coming out on 3DS. November. It's going to be the Wii version. I am in no way endorsed by Nintendo because they would hate this song. Recording!
Is it broadcasting? Live! Remember when we had the ukulele and it was like 10 seconds?
Simple,
now
clean.
It's like,
the way that it makes you feel that ukulele. Yes. It's Tuesday, and for those who are enthusiastic with time stamping and calendars, it's the 16th. So if it's not the 16th, you're watching the wrong episode. If it is the 16th, very much the right episode, and you're all here. Lots of people joining the chat just now.
Awesome.
Lots of people coming. Katie's here, of course.
Guys, thanks for, if you saw my earlier Twitter issues, yeah, I'm doing better now. Thank you. I don't know if you noticed, but I put up a comic, and our website keeps crashing every time I put up comics. So I don't know. I can't handle websites. I can't do it. From now on, it's just blogs and Tumblrs.
I guess so. Yeah. Let's just take down all our websites and send people nowhere, or to Tumblr. Yeah. Tumblr's have links to stores and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And they can have like hashtags and themes, and I don't know if they do. Like, I haven't really followed much Tumblr stuff of people like posting their comics exclusively because I always find like the page system is a little tricky because it's like, it presents it nice enough, but to go to the next comic, it's only 9 images per post. So
you can only post 10 images. So I mean, 10. If you want, but I think there might be different blogs you can look at. But I mean, I could probably figure this stuff out. I just don't have time to go into WordPress and hack around with it.
Right.
Like I hired a friend originally to build the site, but like I can't keep going, can you fix this? Like it needs to be something I can make that's easy to do.
Yeah, like that. Is that even Comics Press or is that something else?
It's like a really old version of Comics Press. So, but I mean, like in order to update the comics, I had to rename all the pages by the date because it would only take date updates, and then I had to do this convoluted roundabout way, and so it took almost an hour to put 18 pages up on the site, and then when I was like, hey guys, check it out, like the site crashed. So
Yeah, and so we'd rather have like a Tumblr infrastructure where like
Tumblr seems to be
they're
able to
designed
handle
to last.
a ton of images. I just, I have a decent amount of bandwidth. I don't get it. People were like, "Oh, it's your caching. Fix your caching." So I downloaded a caching app. I thought that worked. Didn't work. I don't even know where to start, and I'm just like, I can't just spend time fixing this. So
yeah, if you guys are tech savvy and stuff, I'm happy for you all. But us, it's like we do not have time to be technical because I just keep making crap. Let's go in the chat quickly because we got a bunch of folks that we know in life and otherwise. We got Andrew Murray saying, "Woo, it's showtime," with a vote of 3 winning the show so far. You too could win if you go into the chat in the Google Plus interface and get voted up. And
you know what you can't win that we won?
What did we win?
We won 4 free tickets to see Box Trolls.
Oh, Snapplejack! That's exciting. What did you have to do?
Although I think, well, basically there's the Taffy Toronto animation site, and they just sent out an email like, "Enter to win our raffle." But I think everybody who entered won because they wanted it to be at capacity, so it would be a big screening. So I mean, we had the tickets, but we're gonna have to get there early to get seatings. But I'm really excited for Box Trolls. I think Leica makes excellent movies, and I am looking forward to seeing this one and making my brain explode from all the stop motion goodness.
That's like this weekend. Cool. We got Alex S. joining us saying hello, everyone. Hello, Alex. We have Tyler Mann saying, "I had Netflix off for the past 10 minutes, just waiting for this to start." Well, don't put Netflix on now that we've started. It's like it's distracting. One show at a time.
Maybe we can make commentary of what you're watching.
Maybe. We got Sarah Quinn saying hi. Hello. We have Kel McDonald saying hi, everyone. Hello. We have Glenn telling us it's Taco Tuesday. Thank you, Glenn, for the reminder. And then we also have Andrew Murray pointing out, whoa. Does anyone else see the green thumbs and the red thumbs? Okay, so if you joined us last week when Katie abandoned the show and left me to figure it out by myself, I enabled some new feature, and I don't know if it's even worth having or if it makes any sense, but it's like the applause or enjoyment factor feature where you, the viewing audience, have the opportunity to press these buttons during the show for the stuff that you enjoy.
I don't know if I like that because that's just going to be nonstop madness.
Well, like the thing was, it shows up in my interface as a picture of like two
get booed. Clapping. We just get booed nonstop for the whole show.
Well, like, I thought it was going to make sound effects or something. So like when you clicked it, it was going to be, when you clicked it, it was going to be the sound of applause, kind of like when we're in the chat mode and we can click like chat and stuff like that. But it wasn't. People said they heard applause, but I didn't, even though I have my earphones on. And then when I go and rewatch the video in the Google Plus interface, there's like a timeline of approval now. That's like, ooh, they like 5 minutes. Oh, no. I don't know. So I'm going to leave it on for one more episode. If it's distracting you guys, I'll get rid of it. But, it's the last time something changed. Last time when we added that other feature where it's like, now we can send people links, but then people couldn't find the chat anymore. So if you're watching in Google Plus and you can't find the chat, I don't know if it's because it's replaced by this applause thing, but look up into one of the little circles with the 4 boxes or something, maybe, and do things with that, maybe. We also have Tyler saying, "Is anyone else's comments here getting cleared? Only when I go through them." And we're in a time difference, so I'm deleting comments as I go through them in your future, which is my past, because of the backwards.
Tyler's from Toronto, though, so.
Still, there's still a time difference in feed. Like what I say now, you guys won't even see for a while. This is why we had the patented the clapping test. Because when I say I clap my hands and you type clap right as soon as I typed it or did it,
it's not as bad
that's
as
going to be a time. Well, let's find out. Because I don't see anyone saying clap. So there you go. Now you're going to think as soon as you hear me say it, you're like, oh, I'm the fastest. But no, that would have been like a minute ago for my time. I'm in the future where many different things have been happening. Speaking of which, big list of things to chat about, mostly mundane silliness. But first of all, it is the fall of summer. That is, it's basically fall now, and summer is basically over, hence the sweater.
Fall of summer.
Cute, isn't it? I was going to name the episode that, but we might come up with something better. The point is, the evidence is there. Katie herself has had a pumpkin spice latte. Is that not true?
I had a PSL. It's actually called that. You go up to the door, and it's like, the PSL is here. And I'm just like,
That's not even an appealing acronym. Like the PSL.
Oh, the PSL, please. Please. Yeah, but I really like those, so I'm okay if it's a thing, because that means it'll keep coming back forever. Just like,
I think PSL is harder to say. Well, no, pumpkin spice latte sounds nicer. Like, see everyone's saying clap, clap, clap now, and it's like a minute later.
I guess
we moved on to the future of pumpkin spice. PSL is the future, guys, and like you're still clapping your hands like fools. I haven't yet myself, but I did pick up the. I was gonna brew some for myself just for the show, but I did pick up the David's teas, like the autumn collection of tea selection for you to make for your family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one we tried was the Snickerdoodle,
Which was awesome.
Yeah, which is interesting. Though I don't think I can have too much of it. I don't know if I'll like. It was good for what it was, but like once I didn't want to waste the tea. I don't know if they were even leaves. It was like cookie crumbs, but I didn't want to waste whatever it was, so I kept making more, and it was just kind of like started burning my throat more. So I'm kind of like, I'm good. But we'll try the rest of them because there's an exciting selection in the box of like apple, whatever the hell, and there is a pumpkin spice, whatever the hell too. So we'll see. We'll see if tea can compete with the lattes for the season's favor.
Nice.
Because everyone. Because I had a good time with David T's summer selection. I really liked the cotton candy, and we stocked up on as much as we could before we lost it all for the season. So we hoarded it. I have like 2 more of those candy boxes full of friggin' cotton candy tea. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Going in the chat, of course, we got Yaiba saying clap. We got Matthew Pichard saying clap.
Aw, so behind.
We got Sarah K. Herman saying, pretty psyched. You'll be in Valor.
Thank you. Yeah, we got our script approved by Issa and Megan, who are spearheading it. So now it's just 14 days to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. We're going in a slightly different direction from our usual comic making, and I am excited.
Last week was actually a pretty good writing week for me. I kept bragging that on the Twitters, and it was
really good writing week. I'm done.
I'm accomplished. No, I actually got a lot. I got like 4 or 5 scripts done for different stuff, and I did 2 for Valor, of 2 totally different kind of stories to see what we'd prefer. And it was really good flow of just getting these things accomplished, as opposed to just writing like a concept pitch. I just went for a full version 1, which is like complete narrative, complete character, complete description. Where else like I kind of have different phases of my writing, where I have like the note version, where I'm just like I just make dumb notes. And then version 0 is when they're all on one page, and then version 1 is when I finally connected all the notes, put things in order, and it's like a complete story. It's not the perfect story, but it's a complete story. And then we move on from there. So that was kind of cool. So one of those 2, when I said there's going to be an elimination process, one of those 2 made it through, and it's going towards the Valor anthology, which I guess the Kickstarter closed. Successful.
Closed.
Very successful.
But I think if you go to the Kickstarter, there's a link that you could still buy. You still get the book, and you can still get some of the backer levels, too. So they've made it available that if you're like, oh, man, I want the book, but I also want these prints and this sticker set, you can still actually get it. So they've left it open while we're still finishing up on the book.
And I also want to open with, since last week, or 2 weeks ago, was a successful asking a question to the audience to just kick things off. To get you guys interactive and involved, what you guys looking forward to most in the fall-autumn season? Is it perhaps a TV series coming back? Maybe your favorite food?
Yeah!
Or pie? Post it in the comments. What are you looking for this autumn? And we'll get to a lot of that because I have a big list of things to talk about. We have Yaiba talking about tech supporting, saying this update of the Applausa meter thing did not kill the chat like the last update, which I you will use again because it was horrible.
Did it explode?
It basically just no one could find the chat because there was this like link system kept showing up. But yeah, what you guys looking forward to this fall? Looking forward to seeing? Looking forward to doing? Looking forward to eating? Looking forward to blah 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 blah. Be involved in this show. Why don't you?
I'm looking forward to pumpkin pies, sweater and boot weather. I love autumn. The color change, going for walks under the colorful trees. I love Halloween. This is going to be our. I don't know. Did you guys move in the same day we moved in, or a little bit later?
Maybe later, because
either way, we haven't had a Halloween.
I bet you guys moved in later because like you had more time to move. We had like
we moved in. You guys had to get out right away, but we. You
guys had like a leisurely month.
It has not been a full year in the new house yet, and we have a nice porch, and there's a lot of kids in this neighborhood, so I really want to do something fun for Halloween. I'm not sure what yet.
I have no budget to do such things, so I'm doing nothing. Oh. I can't afford the candy for the kids. They can go get their own candy elsewhere.
Oh, come on. No.
I can't even afford a costume. Andrew Murray's looking forward to scarves. That's what he's looking forward to this fall.
I love scarves. I love scarves and coats because it's like you can just make yourself look so classy and you could be wearing anything underneath, and you're just like classy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like fall because it's cold enough for scarf, but it's not so cold that you're like, my coat's getting wet with snow, so I like fall. Fall's nice.
Yeah.
I think Sarah Quarian's looking forward to the new Batgirl from Brendan Fletcher. Came to my table. All right, this is a story. This might not be about fall, but the point is, the new Batgirl. Brendan Fletcher came to my table at Comic-Con, and I didn't know who he was until he told me he worked on the new Batgirl. Girl Meltdown followed. That's very exciting. I'm looking forward. I just like the character design, so I'm looking forward to see how the personality matches the design. That's what I'm all for.
Yeah.
We got Louise Nato saying stuff that's actually on my list of things to talk about. Looking forward to Korra, Hyrule Warriors, and Smash Bros. Let's put a pin on that because I got a lot of things to go through. I don't know which order going through first. We got Matthew Pritchard saying weather finally getting colder, which is always cool because I feel we've been burnt enough this summer.
Yeah, I'm good.
And Glenn wants summer back because it's so much warmer, but it's too bad, Glenn.
Go to LA, Glenn.
Yeah, you gotta go SoCal.
Gotta go SoCal. I felt bad because getting up this morning was so cold, just with all like a sweater and a coat and socks and shoes, and then a lot of my friends on the internet and in real life are in LA, and I was just reading about this heat wave that just hit the West Coast. That sounded not very fun, but I am happy for our seasonal change and our cold weather.
Down here we got Alex S saying, did you get to try the Smash Bros 3DS demo yet? I don't know, you tell me. I
guess
oh god. Well, thanks a lot, Alex. You killed Pikachu. How dare.
What's on you?
Let's jump into that quickly as I open the show with that, but people are rarely here right at the beginning of the show. So this week, if you're a Club Nintendo member, and a Club Nintendo member is basically every time you buy a Nintendo game, there's a little booklet that is just a waste of paper, but it has a code, and that code gives you like points and stuff towards showing like I am a loyal Nintendo man or whatever it is. And it's like I love their games, and they give you little perks like every June when you tally up all of your points, you get like to download stuff and have free games and things like that. But for everyone who reached that platinum level of 600 points from all the games they purchased over the years, they have a week early access to the Smash Bros. Demo for the 3DS. Now, next week, or on the 19th, whichever comes first, everyone's going to have access to this demo too. The only difference is those demos for the general public can only be initiated 30 times, whereas the ones for everyone else is like, you have it for as long as you want, but when the game comes out, there's really no point to have it anymore. Long and short of it, though, is, just if you have the limited demo, just keep your system on standby, don't turn it off. But yeah, no, it plays well. I'm looking forward to it. Here's my quick review of it. It's extremely easy in the Smash Bros. To start up like quick public games. I remember when the original DS first came out, and all of us were just jumping into like at any convention or video game event, we'd all be going into Mario Kart or Bomberman or anything like that. It was so easy, and it was great, and everyone did it. And then after that, like that never really happened to me again. Even going to like future video game lives, no one all had the same game. No one all had like the same quick, easy game for everyone to play. But I feel this Smash Bros. Is going to be that game. So when you're in movie theaters, when you're at conventions, when you're at live performances of video game type stuff, everyone's going to be on Smash Bros. This season. So get on it. This game's going to be hot. One concern, of course, though, is a lot of people are showing now pictures of broken controller pads here because this is a vicious game. This is a fighting game. It's intense.
I remember doing that with the what was the 64, the kind of triangle thing you would hold, because it had the thumb pad too, and I really would jam my fingers playing that with Zelda or mostly Smash Bros. And Ocarina of Time. It was just like
And like that's the thing, like these systems aren't designed for that kind of abuse. Like this is like smashing is like a very jolting effort, So like and the other half of it too is I know some people have a problem with the Kid Icarus game that came out where they all got friggin' carpal tunnel syndrome or whichever. But the point is, it's like this system isn't designed very well. Not everyone got it. I'm just saying, like it was very uncomfortable to play. But like the system isn't really designed for aggressive play because these things dig into your palms and you're like kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to some like add-on that adds like a nice how like Xbox controls are all designed like this. This is for your hands to fit don't know, this three hands to fit nicely into the hold and grip. It's not stabbing nothing. Nothing stabbed. This game's going to injure so many children. It's just like Mario Party 1 all over again. Everyone's going to spin in this stupid thing and putting holes in their hands. Nintendo has to now sell gloves for everybody. Okay, well, not holes, but, point is. That Mario Party 1 was rough. We had to paddle that boat. Oh, my gosh. Those are the days. That's when games are hardcore, man. Halo, what is that? Nothing. Destiny. What? Ooh,
that's the new big one right now, right?
I paddled a boat. I paddled a boat, damn it.
I heard there was problems with like Destiny because I've heard people were really looking forward to it, but everyone's kind of like about the story.
Yeah, the bottom to sum everything up I've ever heard about Destiny. If you don't know what Destiny is, well, there's been plenty of aggressive advertising, and still I don't know what it's really about, honestly, unless you like play it or read the reviews. But it's basically the gunplay is great. It plays well from what I hear, but there's just no plot at all. It's just I hear the plot from like I've read like a couple reviews, watched a couple reviews, and the plot seems very basic. Where it's just like the darkness is coming. That's the name of the bad guys, the darkness, and these guys are called the Fallen, and these guys are called the contention mean people. They're not happy folk. It's just like. It's I don't know. It's just very simple. It's considering like how much people love Mass Effect for creating like a new living sci-fi world, or even just people enjoy Guardians as kind of a newish. It's existing comics, but it is still a relatively new IP to the mass public, and it works. It's a sci-fi world that works. And the thing with Destiny, it's just like a sci-fi story that just has nothing to it, from what I hear. Now I haven't played it myself. I can't say for sure, but like. It's adding up from what I hear. It's just like if you like the gunplay and the co-op, it's there, but it's very shallow. It's just like there's nothing to it really.
So you just skip the cutscenes and go back to shooting.
I guess so. And it's just like everything. Apparently, the delivery is so dry too, because everyone's so serious. It's just like you've got to get the darkness and the fallen and thing, and you're just kind of dragged along, just being like, all right, I get. Who am I? Why am I invested in this?
Do it. Just
do it! Oh my gosh! All these questions.
All this is saving the world not enough.
Yeah, like if I, the voice of the robot, Ghost, or whatever it's called, should do that. Just be like, oh my god, come on!
I still really want to do a Let's Play with Leslie. Just angry Irish mama, like, don't go in there!
That'd be fun.
She's so good.
We got set up equipment for Let's Plays. We're basically, folks, we're teetering on the edge of doing a Let's Play Five Nights at Freddy's with Katie.
No!
Just because we need to.
I can't handle scary things. I haven't even seen that. Okay, so I do. It's over now. I do yoga at the aquarium on Tuesdays, and they have this freaky, it's not even a mascot, but it's this freaky shark statue by the gift shop. I was walking down the hall, and that thing scared me. Like, I don't even know what this game looks like, and things are starting to frighten me that are just like friendly icons. And statues. And,
there's a lot of great fan art of it that is like the way it's supposed to be, where it's like, oh, it's a nice, fun kids' place. We got Alex S. saying, I have a circle pad cover for my 3DS XL that I bought from Amazon and feels great to use. Did you buy that for Smash Bros. Or for like the intenseness of Animal Crossing? Where you're like a guy catches bug and you're like,
my place is full of cockroaches.
Yeah, I could see many 3DSs being destroyed this holiday season, so be careful, Smashers. Be careful. Smash politely.
Please, smash politely.
Yeah, just writing that down for the show title, just in case. Politely. All right. Don't want to hark too much on that. Let's jump through some of the chats, too, of course. Going back to more fall-autumn type stuff. Daniel Cosette is happy that I'm glad hoodie weather is arriving. Yeah. I would be too if I didn't lose my favorite hoodie on one of my convention trips.
Oh, which one?
It was just the big, just a nice big one. It had like letters on it or whatever, but it was just like, it was the coziest hoodie. It was like the right size, felt good. I've basically started to lose everything I cherish. I've lost two of my favorite hats now. One on Christmas. One in Vancouver. Like, thank God I still have my scarf, my favorite yellow scarf, for as long as that's gonna last. I just lose things. I'm becoming, I just lose things.
The thing about the scarf is you can make another one.
I can't. I've tried.
You can ask Mom.
Don't say I didn't try. I've tried making a scarf. Most frustrating days of my life. I gave up.
Yeah, but you were trying to make something really complicated.
No, it was my Sin City scarf. It was gonna be black, white, and red. It was awesome.
Oh, I thought you were trying to make that Mario World, like the
No,
whole...
I haven't done that. I wasn't gonna do that. I want someone talented to do that for me. I want Mario level 1 as a scarf, and the flip side would be like the underworld part of level 2. We got spiced caramel apple cider. Says.
Oh, that sounds so good. I love that stuff.
Yeah, get like a malt cider.
I love apple ciders. I love malt ciders. A little bit of caramel. Pumpkin scones, ginger cookies.
We got Andrew Murray suggesting the Power Glove 2.0 for the future of gaming. I don't know if it'd be like a Power Glove. Well, then again, like I'm almost tempted now, like to just like you get your 3DS and you put it over here, then you have a controller separately that you can play wirelessly on. Like basically, if they like allow you to use like the Pro controller to connect to this, it'd be like, okay, good. You know, just because it stands up, you can use it as a standing screen on any surface. You know, so why not? But yeah, you all can be playing some Smash Bros. Next week. It's a limited demo. There's only one stage, and it does have a variation where you can do like a flat Final Destination version of it, or you know the 3-tiered version. And there's only like 4 or 5 characters. You got your Mega Man, Mega Man, Link, Mario, Pikachu, and the Villager, of course, and a bunch of items and stuff. So it's fun. Glad to have it. Looking forward to the final release.
Sweet.
Let's see. We also have, I think this is going back to the Batgirl. We got Sarah saying, I saw some earlier exclusive previews of the comic. Everyone needs to buy it. Okay.
Support.
Well then.
Support cool comics.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. Let's check it out. But that being said, I usually wait for a trade.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I want to support it so I can get to the trade, but I don't like collecting floppy issues. I like a nice book. So, alas.
I know. It's tricky. It's a rough world.
Yeah.
A little while ago, Andrew asking, which I guess this will segue into our next topic, says, Shaggy, what did you think of Song of the Seas? Let's go back a step. This past Sunday, Saturday, whichever day, was the end of TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, where lots of movies come on by, celebrities and animations and stuff like that. And this is the first year we're actually gone. And what a way to do it, because I ended up going to like 4 films, and all absolutely free for me. It was awesome. Thanks to the generosity of many folk I know, Katie included.
Yeah, no problem.
I ended up going to, I went to Tokyo Tribes for Midnight Madness. I went to Kingdom of Dreams and Madness.
The Studio Ghibli documentary, which was very enjoyable.
Really cool Ghibli documentary, which actually talks about one of the other movies I saw. I also saw Song of the Sea, animated film from the same production who did The Secret of the Kells.
Cartoon Saloon. That's why I wasn't here last week, because I was at their party. Then Andrew Murray was like, I want to go to a party with some cool people. And I was like, I'm in my sweatpants. And then I got out of my sweatpants, put on some regular clothes, and went to the party, and it was fun. It was the folks from Cartoon Saloon were in from Ireland for like screenings and talks for the premiere of Song of the Sea, and it was really nice. And thank you very much, Andrew. And then afterwards,
Andrew.
there's no Shanahanigans live, and I was like, well, you got half the show.
Sounds like it was a fun time, Andrew. Great fun. Fun for all the Irish people.
I'm sure he would have been fine to come. I was just... You seem so like, the show must go on. So I was like, he's got this.
Yeah,
and everybody's asking you art questions. And you're like, I don't know. Photoshop?
Yeah, I went like oddly in depth into like how to do animation last week, and I'm like,
that's great.
I don't know why I'm answering these questions. I'm not an animator. Oh well. I referred to the guidebook. Okay, but so everything's falling down. What's going on over there? Stuff's falling off the thing. Okay, cool. Okay, so I mean, last week or the week before, we may have talked a bit about some. Well, actually, you were away, so we didn't get a chance to talk about the Ghibli documentary.
Yes.
So we've already talked about Tokyo Tribes. Ghibli documentary thoughts? I already gave mine, so go.
I really enjoyed it. It was kind of, I don't know if there's many other documentaries that give you a look inside kind of a day in life in the studio, but I like just kind of going through and experiencing what it's like, meeting all the people that run it. The producer guy was pretty fun. Like just listening to a lot of his Miyazaki's thoughts and just philosophies on, I guess, the animation industry and everything. I like that it's like he's not super gung ho. Like he's kind of at a point where it's like it can be a little bit of a downer, I guess. But I don't know exactly how to describe it. Like I guess I find kind of he's got kind of a real down to earth, real opinion on a lot of things, and I find that, I guess, refreshing and maybe more of a kind of a geek culture, which is super fanatical. He's just kind of really low key about it all. But that he's like what he's doing for the kids. Like he wants to leave good stories, and like he was saying, you know, it's when you see the employees who bring their kids in, it's kind of like you look at them and you're like, oh yeah, you're who I'm making these films for, making stories for you, for, you know, about taking care of the world and just learning how to be a good person and stuff like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed. It was kind of like a quiet movie, and it's exactly what I wanted to see at that time.
Cool. So that's Kingdom of Madness and Dreams, what was it?
Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. So it was a look at them making the final film, or the last one they made, which was the Wind Rises. So what I liked was you got to see him storyboarding and they didn't have an ending, trying to pick the ending. The film was kind of halfway produced. They didn't have a main voice actor, so it was how do they find the main voice actor? And they ended up getting the director of the Evangelion series to be the voice of the main character, which was interesting. And then just, yeah, it was just cool to see like that animation studio in particular and how it works.
Very good doc. If you like anything Ghibli, Miyazaki, be sure to check it out. Then the third movie I saw at TIFF, basically that thanks to Katie going to the party that Andrew writes we were both totally invited to. Awesome. We got tickets to, basically an extra ticket to the Song of the Sea, and I checked that out, and if you haven't seen it, oh gosh, there's a problem in chat. Why is this? There's always a problem. Yeah. Anyway, Song of the Sea. If you guys haven't seen it, well, I don't know which theaters it's coming out to, but be sure to check it out. It is really well done, really cute.
Definitely check it out. It looks gorgeous. I wish I could have seen it. I had a dentist appointment, so I couldn't skip on that last minute. So I did the boring adult thing, and you got to go see a really lovely animated movie.
Yeah, it's basically like it's modern fairy tale in the sense like it hits all the right notes of kind of like I compare some of the elements of it to like say Coraline or Wizard of Oz, the film version at least, how there's kind of like there's a parallel of fantastical to the reality where like each main character of the kids like family is also represented as like a fantastical version, but it's like it's within the same world, so it's not like it's a dream or anything like that, and one is represented by the other. But it does like a lot of those kind of like nods to like fantasy, and it has like a bit of a Spirited Away feeling near the end too, which you'll notice too if you watch it. Definitely, yeah. But like the premise is essentially there's always like Irish terms like the selkie and all these things. It's basically like this boy, his mom, she sings songs in the shells, and there's another kid, but then the mom disappears, so the kid was born in the water, and he's now he was supposed to be a good big brother, but he's now been kind of like very mean to her because like his mom disappeared because of her. And who's a silky and what's a silky and magic and Irish names and stuff. So check that out. I'm not very good at describing it. It's something you have to watch the trailer and stuff like that. Silkies and seals and Ireland and sadness. It's all there.
Delightful.
All there. And then on the final day of TIFF, I was lucky enough to also get another free ticket to the Princess Kaguya, which is the other anime.
I wanted to see that, but as you were leaving the door, I was like, "Let me just get my ticket," and it was all sold out.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, it was Princess Kaguya, which is from the other guy who was not really in the documentary much, Puck's son. If you know his work tends to be like a little like a slower pace compared to some of the other Ghibli efforts. And this particular story it's actually based on like an old fable of like bamboo guy cuts down a tree and there's a little princess in it, and then the princess turns into a baby and grows up and grows really fast, and for some reason all the bamboo the guy cuts keeps now giving him like money and clothing and stuff and he basically sees it as a sign that the gods want him to make her a proper princess and stuff like that. And so they move to the city and the conflicts of that. My review of that is I feel like the beginning half was a lot stronger because I like the pacing of her growing faster than the other kids and hanging out in like the countryside of Japan and like the silliness going on there. And then there's some nice stuff like when they get to the capital, and then like all these suitors are trying, because she's beautiful and really talented and stuff, and all the suitors are trying to get to her. But then like the latter half of the film feels it kind of slows down a lot to really expand on, you know, the moments where the first one was kind of like flying through moments in more of like a fairy tale sort of manner. You know, because there's different kind of pacing to fairy tale stories where like I could tell you the tale of like, oh, you know, the Little Red Riding Hood did this and this and this, and my own wolf and that and the end. And it's like, okay, that was like a nice short 5-minute story. I got all the points. But it's like if you take that, but then you really expand on the final wolf scene and make it half an hour, it's just kind of like, it seems a lot more
really
focus
exciting
on that scene than needed. You know, it's really long. You know, I don't know. It's just like, that's just my take. But the animation is beautiful.
Yeah.
The animation is beautiful.
It's funny in context of the Ghibli doc where they were like, he does not want to finish this movie. Like they're just trying to get him to finish it, and he's just not getting it done.
You get the sense from, I mentioned it before from this Ghibli doc, that no one wants to make anything at Studio Ghibli, and they're all like begrudgingly being geniuses.
Yeah, a little bit, where it's like,
oh, I have to make another.
The son is like, I don't want to make a movie,
film.
and then the other director doesn't want to make a movie.
And it's not even me being like, you know, thinking they're, you know, they have this opportunity and wasting it. It's not like that type of thing. It's just, it's so apparent that everything they do is like so begrudging. It's like, I've got to make another groundbreaking, you know, amazing film with jaw-dropping animation. You know, and I know like we all look at our work and hate it or whatever. We're just like, I
think it takes a lot out of you though.
Yeah, I guess.
And I mean, like, it looks exhausting.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of a little bit of a segue, but like I borrowed the book I gave Dad for Christmas a little while ago, the Osamu Tezuka book. If you guys don't know the name, he's the creator of Astro Boy, and many people call him the god of manga because he kind of, I think, was like really instrumental in getting it to be a little more cinematic, is how it was described. Like manga was made before he started making it, but it became more pop culture when he came in. But like it was like kind of filming like a couple days in his life, and the guy was just working. He was working on like 2 monthly series and a one-shot at the same time, and then the camera would be on him. He's like, "Oh, I just have to get 20 pages of comics done today." Oh my god! Like it takes me a day to get a page penciled, and he would just have to do that nonstop. Like it's the schedules there do seem punishing. But you'd think in a studio like Ghibli, they'd just be like, you know what, we'll set our own deadlines, whatever. Like, because you're not putting it in like a monthly shonen magazine. It's like, whenever the film's
still
done.
Marketing and all. Like the doc also showed that, where they had to get posters and stuff and like tell the press if it was going to be late or not, you know. So.
Well, because they wanted Princess Kaguya and The Wind Rises to come out at the same time, because it was going to be like, I don't think it was going to be the last films, but it was going to be like, you know, their biggest films together at the same time. But
does that mean there's only one more then? The one with the boat and the girls, or whatever it is, or the...
Marnie was there. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. Like I was saying, when you watch the doc, it's kind of like Miyazaki's like, oh, the future of the studio, it'll fail. Like it's not gonna last forever. It's just a name. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. It's, you know.
It's just what it is. He's very blunt with everything. He's very matter-of-factly, so that's... But you need that to a certain degree, or else you get...
I think that's important.
Yeah. One thing, as I mentioned, one thing that I gained from watching both Song of the Sea and Kaguya 2 days in a row, basically, is I think I'm now bitter of magic and whimsy to a degree. Because anytime there's a scene of someone like singing and floating and magic and wispy things, I was just like, and there's nothing against the story and nothing against the creators, but it's just like I feel like I've experienced like so many films and stuff with magical floaty conclusions and things where I'm just like, of course they're flying. Whoop-de-doo. You know, it's just like
you're just burnt out on Wonder.
I'm burnt out on Wonder now. I feel I need more hard-hitting, hard-boiled dramas to like make me want Wonder again. But I'm just like, I was just sitting there like,
need to take a break.
Here we go. We're gonna sing a song and float in the sky now. It's that part.
Yeah,
And
but
that might like
sometimes, yeah.
inform my own writing in a weird way, because you'll see if I ever use magic, it's usually very sarcastically used or something.
Or cynical, yeah.
Yeah, very cynical magic is what I specialize in. But just I don't know. I just feel like I've overdosed on like just the whimsical moments, and I'm glad like Korra doesn't. We're gonna get to Korra, but like Korra doesn't really do that kind of stuff too much. Where the magic is mostly as like an offensive or defensive means, and not as much about like a grand
So
magical
basically, you just
transformation
like
moment.
music that hurts. Not music. You like magic that hurts people, not magic that's like ah. It's fighting.
Well, I just feel like it feels the magic that presents people feels a little pretentious to me now. When it's like they do the spiral spin and they're just middle centered perfectly and they land in the middle of everything. It's like the showbiz of magic basically. It's like, why would these ancient gods care about this like presentation to be so perfect and the
No, that's
lighting
what
to
they're
be
trying to
so
show.
nice?
Like you're trying to make you feel this wonder, and I mean
I don't
that's
feel
what the
anymore.
audience is for. Well, then it's not
I
for
have
you.
no more feelings. I need a break. I need a break from that stuff. But that being said, as Daniel Cosette brings up, Korra Book 4 on October 3rd. Excited? Yes, I saw that sneak peek.
Me too.
Oh man, that looks awesome. They're heading back
I've
south
seen
to
some
the
a
water temple.
reference, some drawings of her with the different hair. I'm
Yeah, I
digging
saw a
it.
picture of her with a short haircut. I'm like, are they going to do that? Are they going to give her a short haircut?
There's a couple pictures. There's like 3 drawings of her with short hair, and I'm like,
That'd
yeah,
be
it
so
looks
cool if
good.
they change her design a bit. That'd be awesome. Because maybe like she's gonna be like in her wheelchair and in front of the mirror, and she's just like, I need a change or something like that. And then she like does
And then it's like
cuts that
makeover,
hair.
makeover.
But it won't be magical. It'll just be
Makeover.
it won't be crazy
Yeah.
dramatic like Mulan, and it won't be magical like a transformation. She'll just do it, and it'll be just like
You
I
might lose it
needed
in
a
a fight.
change.
Like someone fire bends and it chops her hair off, and she's like, and then it falls really nice. You fire bend my hair. You dick.
And we'll see what happens, but it's looking really cool. Season 3 was fantastic. Beginning to
really
end,
loved it.
I loved season 3. It was spectacular. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. It's so cool. It was a good season. Anytime we go back to Boston State, it's a good time because it's an awful time there, and it makes such good writing.
Yeah, it's just so it's wrong. I love it that it's like everything's kind of surface grand, but like stuff's just wrong.
Yeah. This is Metaphor Town. Going for a little while back, I was saying, whoa, regarding The Wind Rises. I didn't realize that was Evangelion's director. I'm a bad anime fan. We didn't realize either.
I didn't know until they were talking to him, and I was like, I know, why is that name so familiar? And then they were like, oh, the director of Evangelion. I was like, "Brr."
Yeah, and he's just
But
got
I
this
think,
weird voice that works well. Like it works
Yeah.
for the movie, for The Wind Rises.
But yeah, I was I'm gonna bring this up in a second, but like I was looking one of his first jobs out of school was if it wasn't the first one, it was one of the first one. It was animating like the I forgot what they're called, the giant gods in Nausicaa, the
the
warrior god warriors.
warrior gods, god warriors. Or
Yeah,
something
like
that?
he came on and did a lot of really impressed Miyazaki. So that was like one of his early
Cool.
starts working out of school.
Huh.
And speaking of, so there's a
Speaking of Ano,
comedy J drama that I found because people keep posting stuff on Tumblr with this like comic artist that's like, I'm gonna draw a comic, and then I've got no ideas, and it's just a lot of really funny things that I think a lot of us can relate to. But it's from a show called Blue Blazes, which is about a film student in Osaka in the 80s who's just super, he's just so full of himself, thinks he's the best, and he's okay. But he goes to school with like some of these top talented people that are creating something. So it's kind of like I think it's like a biography, but it's like a humorous, exaggerated one, or from this like a guy who went to school with these people. But he goes to school with like Ano, who is the director of Evangelion, and he goes to school with like the guy who creates Gainax and like the guy who goes on to create Studio Bones, and all these people that will go to make amazing things, and it's just about them all being like 19, 20 in college making films, and it's hilarious and bizarre and so weird. And I'm like, is this all true? Is this like, do they know they're in this? This is so weird. Just having like you being a character in like a comedy J drama.
yeah, it's like a live action comedy about creators of anime as teens and like young adults. It's such a weird concept, but like it works so well, and it's one of like the funniest, weirdest shows I've ever seen, but truest at the same time because it's all about everyone being a big fish. at their school, and like always trying to like one up each other's like that, because you always run into someone who's better than you. And like the main guy's just like blown away by how amazing people are. He like running across the whole school, knocking people over, shocked at how good his art is and stuff like that.
He's freaking out. But like the main character is so like delusional. It's so fun. But like it's a lot of these funny attitudes where he's just looking around when it's his first day of class. He's like, look at everyone. They don't know that to become like an amazing filmmaker, you do your good stuff and you leave school. They just want to graduate. It's like he's like, look at these fools, just want to graduate. It's I don't know. It's I really enjoy it. So look up Blue Blazes if you're in the mood for something goofy and really nostalgic, because since it's in the 80s, it's like, they're reading Shonen Sunday, and there's Yuritsu Yatsura, the Lum manga series by Rumiko Takahashi, and just a lot of references that. It's funny that it's nostalgic for us, because it's like, that's like, I guess, 80s manga, but I mean, that was the stuff that was coming over in the 90s here, like the really popular stuff. Oh, so good.
I gotta watch more of that. I only see one episode. Just going back a little, Andrew Murray talking about the scarf. This is from way back when, actually, but he said, I'll start knitting a patch of a scarf, then someone can take it, then pass it on until, and then we send the final scarf to Shaggy. That'd be nice if you can figure that out, Andrew. I encourage it. So I will never lose a scarf again. I'll have the Shanahan scarf where everyone makes it.
Shanahan?
Yeah, it'd be so nice. Someone said that last week. I'm like, how did I not think of that? Was it the week before? Someone said Shanahan. I'm like, how did we not come up with this? So
really? That's very nice.
Yeah, Shanahan's a good thing. So you're all official. Yeah, and then you can be part of the Shanahan Club letter mail list. We send you letters. How's it going, Shanahan's? We got Chelsea Buke. Oh, I keep screwing this up, don't I? Chelsea Bukert saying, "Hello, everyone. I'm doing homework. How are you, Katie and Shaggy?"
We are great. Let us know if you screwed up your name.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I say every name wrong. It's cool. It's all even. Andrew Murray also adds, I know what I'm looking forward to this fall. Halloween cereals, Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankie.
Wow.
I thought those were year-round cereals, though. I didn't think they were like celebratory or nothing. Like, don't we always have Chocula, but we never got like Boo Berry?
They're not like keeping it from you.
Yeah, but I thought like the states got all the others, but we only got Count Chocula because that was like as much sugar as we can handle.
Like Cookie Crisp.
You had a chance to buy Cookie Crisp. We were down there.
Yeah.
I saw it in the aisle.
I don't get sugar cereals anymore. It just tastes weird. Like I might as well just crush full-size cookies and put milk over it.
It makes just as much sense, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll have a couple more. We'll have a couple more things to talk about. We won't go too long because Katie was looking
I'm
at the
sorry
fish.
I'm not Yeah, I was, and like I mentioned drawing, I can't really share this page though because it's like a big spoiler. So unfortunately, you can't really see me drawing right now, but you'll see this when it comes out in a couple months. But yeah, I had aquarium yoga at 7 a.m., which meant I had to get up at 5 a.m. to get down there. Hey.
Chelsea says, take out the U, so pronounce it Beckert.
Beckert. What were you saying?
I said Buchert. What's written Buchert?
Beckert.
B-U-E. Fine. Beckert. Have your last name. I don't care. Take it. Here's another little tidbit. So today, after I did some recording today because I had a couple projects to get done and some contests and things like that I wanted to record for. And like right after, on Twitter, I just like, just a recording session. Now I can have some cheese dip and chips. I lost 3 followers because of that tweet.
Oh, I just look at it like it's robots because I mean.
I hope so.
I've been losing quite a few this week, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I just mentioned cheese dip, and you just lose people instantly. I don't know how that happens.
Personally. I mean, if you actually look at your follower list, there's so many robots that it's you can't really look at it as legitimate. Or feel bad. Just feel really bad. People don't like cheese, crackers. And...
Yeah, I'll never speak of that again. Holy jeez. It's dangerous. What did you guys ever lose followers over? Post in the comments. Make it hilarious. We also have Chelsea saying, but that's how you'll remember me. Oh, it's you. You with the strange name. No, I'd be like, it's you without the U. That's who you are. Ulysses.
Ooh.
I'm going to call you Ulysses from now on. What? So Ulysses says, I have a friend named Ulysses, so that's a good name. We got Matthew Pritchard also, and speaking of TV shows, Gravity Falls season 2. Oh my gosh, indeed, 2 episodes of Caught Up Fun, the mini golf episode and the puppet episode, both fantastic. This is the show you guys should be watching, Gravity Falls. If you've watched Shanahanigans live at all, I sing praises of this show. It's some of the best animation from like a Disney show in a good while. Like, not to say Disney has like other shows that are bored, they just don't stand out to me so much. But like this show, it's funny as hell, brilliant characters, great writing, voice acting spectacular, design is great. The drama is excellent. Season began in a big way and it ended in a big way the previous season. Catch up on your Gravity Falls, man. It is a hot show. It's basically like there's a lot of hot shows right now if you're into animation, man. We got Korra coming back. Yep. We got Gravity Falls, and another contender which I didn't think I'd be so passionate about right now, but BoJack Horseman.
Are you liking that?
The first episode didn't catch me. I'm like, all right, I get it. I see what they're doing. And then I kind of like someone's like, Helen's friends were just like, oh, you got to watch episode 2. You got to keep watching. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I started watching, and then I kept watching. I can't stop watching, and it's now like it's a show which I just want to watch more. If you may have heard of it because Netflix was really pushing it as the next original big series. It's got is it Will Arnett or not Will Arnett? Sorry, who's the guy from? Is that him?
Yeah, from Arrested Development.
Yeah, it is him, right? Okay, so he plays the lead, who is this basically. There's like humans as well as there's humanoid animals, personified animals, and he's a horse guy. Who back in the 90s he was on this very famous TV show called Horsin' Around, and now he's like a wash-up trying to write his memoir book for a failing penguin book company with like Patton Oswalt.
It's actually penguins.
It's run by a penguin guy, and it's just like he never writes this book. He's always delaying it, and he has like a ghostwriter, and it's just like I don't know, like maybe it's just this weird era of all our heroes are dicks, like Archer. But we can't stop watching. But it's in that vein where it's like he's a selfish asshole, but we just can't help but keep watching it because it's just like so engaging.
Yeah.
So I recommend checking it out. If the first episode didn't catch you, continue the second. If not, I can't say much to you after that. But it's just like it's worth watching. It's silly, it's strange. It's got a really cool intro sequence too. It's a fantastic opening. The song is really strange, and the visuals are just kind of like stark.
I might actually watch some after this.
Yeah, I recommend it. Check it out. If you're animation fan and stuff. Actually, speaking of in weird combination, I finally started listening to that Korra Nerdist podcast.
Oh, good.
Talking to the creators. I didn't finish the whole thing. I'm still going through it, but there's a Nerdist writers podcast with Ben Blacker, I believe, or is it Acker? Is it Blacker or Acker?
Acker and
Is it Blacker or Acker who hosts that one? There's 2 of them. There's Ben Acker and Ben Blacker, and they both do like Full Adventure Hours.
It's one of them.
The point is, they interviewed the 2 guys from Korra and like Avatar in general, and it's a really good podcast because they talk about how they pitched Avatar, and it was actually a 2-hour pitch, which I feel is unheard of. But like the guy from Nick really wanted to get something out of this because he said something that they're like, we've never had this. He was like, keep pitching to me until we get something, and like they had this other show.
You wanted them to come up with something.
And the big bit of advice they gave, which I've heard before too, is just like ask them beforehand, like sit down with them, whoever you want to pitch to, what are you looking for? Don't just come to them with like, I have the best idea, this is the greatest show ever. Figure out what they're looking for, and what they were looking for was 2 different things. They're looking for, a mythos, like a Harry Potter or something magical or something, and they're also on the side looking for action. And so these guys decided to do both, and they came up with like, the guy was at yoga, and he came up with all this stuff in his head, and he ran across the street all sweaty, and he's like, I got this, and like they have all these ideas, and they came up with Toph, and Toph was a guy at the time, but like they just came up with all these ideas, they built this world, and they're trying to think of cool things, because the guy was watching this documentary on like the North Pole or South Pole or something like that, and he's like, what if it's like, it's just children, and it's like, friggin' Lord of the Flies, it's children in the North Pole. And they're like, well, why are they just children? It's like, well, the adults are gone because there's war. And it's like, okay, well, their grandparents are still there, but all the young adults are gone because there's war, and there's a wind guy. Wait, if they're in the cold place, then they're ice people, and he's a wind guy. And, like, you just get to hear how Avatar got built together, and it makes so much sense in your head to be like, that's how it happened. It just built gradually. And the inspiration came from all these different places. Like, he's watching martial arts films. He's watching nature documentaries, and it's just like, all these little things add up to create Avatar, The Last Airbender. And like I haven't finished it to hear. They didn't get to the part about Korra yet, so I haven't really finished that yet. But, definitely a good podcast. Really good podcast. If you like want to you know, like, and well, the other interesting thing too is one of them, their very first job at like 24 or something like that, was like directing King of the Hill.
Yeah,
Right out of school, he was on King of the Hill for Fox, and then they moved around to Family Guy and stuff like that. And from doing all these shows where they were sending work overseas and stuff would come back, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they're ruining this, and this is bad. And like people would be, you know, it's not to say like stuff doesn't get ruined or does, but it's just like they would always just be, everyone in the studios would just
blaming everything on overseas,
blaming the Eastern animators and stuff, and it's just blah blah blah. And they were just like to themselves, we want to make a show where we utilize these crazy good animators who are over there, as opposed to just having them do like King of the Hill, like characters just standing there talking. Because he gave an interesting point where he's like, in King of the Hill, you're not allowed to put a camera anywhere where a camera couldn't physically exist. Now in animation, yeah. And their argument is like, well, even in TV, they move walls and stuff to put cameras in cool places. But no, you can't do that. In King of the Hill, everything has to be somewhere that a camera could physically be. And he's like, this is just dumb. This is animation. We should be going nuts with this. And so that all this tied in with everything else I said, all built up to create what Avatar would be, you know, The Last Airbender. And it's just like, and now, like, you know, even more, they're talking about the story about like the foaming guy from the episode, because the note was just like that one guy's really excited that the Avatar shows up. And one of the animators over there just had this guy go nuts and foam up in the mouth and fall down kind of thing. And it's just like, they're like, we're going to keep that. Because it's just like, even when I watched that, I'm like, that is a strange thing that I don't think anyone wrote.
Yeah.
Like, that guy is too... It's such an animator gag. I'm like, that guy's too excited for any writer to ever come up with that, you know? And it's just like...
It's a very visual gag.
Yeah. And it's just like this type of mentality of like letting the animators go nuts, giving them a little more to work with than just like, do this exactly as it's written. And that's like how you make shows that... Well, Nickelodeon doesn't really consider it too financially successful, but the audience loves. So that's listen to that and enjoy that.
The writers' panels are really good. That was definitely one of my favorites.
We got Mike T saying, I don't know how I lose Twitter followers. I think they're just robots most of the time. Yeah. I like to think that. I often think like the reason I would ever like lose Twitter followers is usually like I just gain a follower because I talked about some product or something. And it's like they were like bought into it or whatever, and then my next tweet is completely out of like the reign of anything they'd be interested in, and they're like, well, not following him anymore. Yeah.
A lot of times I'll do like a spring cleaning kind of thing. If it's like, all right, like, am I friends with these people? Like, are we ever like, have we met up and like, would I actually go talk to them? And if I'm like, yeah, maybe not, then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be like stalking you on Twitter if I wouldn't go say hi in real life. So that's kind of like, I like to try and keep it under 600 people I follow, because I get on it too much. I've been spending so much time, especially with a lot of the stuff that's been happening on the internet lately. Like, if you follow Twitter or anything, I'm not going to get into it too much, but there's just been a lot of community infighting and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to read this. I don't want to read people fighting. I get sucked into the comments, and then I'm just reading all this vitriol. And I'm just no. What does this do? This does nothing.
We have Louis Nato saying, my brother noticed something in book 3 of Korra. When Iroh ran into Korra, he said he was looking for a special teapot to add to his collection. Then he reminded me that Rava was put into a teapot when she was weak. Could he be trying to restore the cycle?
Maybe.
So like on the side, Iroh's like changing the world, and we're just like, what the hell? What's he been up to this whole time?
Oh, by the way.
I'm just looking for a teapot with the soul of the galaxy in it. No reason. No reason.
Nope, don't think about it.
Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he just liked that one. He's like, it makes really good tea now that the essence of all that is good is trapped inside it. I got this new brew from David's Tea called Rava. Really good stuff. I do miss the original actor. It's so sad that he passed away, but it's the guy who played... he also played one of our favorite villains of all time, Aku from Samurai Jack. Foolish samurai! It was just like, anytime you have like a smug face or disappointed face, this giant, all-powerful being who's just like befuddled by the actions of the samurai. It's so enjoyable. If you haven't watched it yet, track down Samurai Jack, get the 3 DVDs, box sets. And like the 4th, like, or is there 4? Or?
There might be 4. I think I got all 4. I don't buy a lot of DVDs, but that's one I had to have.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful series. If you like concept art and backgrounds and just different stylistic choices for every episode and costume, check out Samurai Jack. It's fantastic. Oh, what a time. In fact, I was just talking a little while ago about animation that was kind of more catered to like a mature side, but made in North America. Well, animated overseas, but still designed in North America. And I guess Samurai Jack does kind of add to that because we have like Korra, Samurai Jack. Not too much else, as far as I'm aware. That's not a comedy. Yeah. That was my discussion. I'm trying to figure out, do we have the equivalency of like these? We have these giant mech shows from Japan that are like can get really heavy and serious and full of action, and there can be humor in it as well, but humor is not the forefront of it. Whereas over here, if it was a mech show, it'd be a comedy, sarcastic of this and that.
I don't even know if we'd have a mech show over here.
Well, I think there was like Megas XLR. I never actually saw it, but some friends of mine were into it. But I'm just wondering if we had more examples of like non-comedy, like I'm not sure if like Black Dynamite is comedy up front or if it's a little. Well, there's like Afro Samurai and stuff, I guess, too, which is.
Is that a little darker?
I think it's a little more serious.
It's comedic.
And it's from the studios.
It's not as slapstick, but like they'll put humor in there.
Yeah, or is it the Boondocks or the that's another
Boondocks,
one? I think.
I'm pretty sure that one's mostly like a lot of kind of satirical look at. So I think it's a lot of verbal comedy, and there's probably a lot of slapstick in there.
Do we have any like drama, animated dramas? If you guys know of any, that's like a series, throw it my way. I'd be really curious. I guess you like outside of action. Well, yeah, like I know we all go back to Cyber 6 and stuff, which is actually pretty heavy at times, but.
Cyber 6 I really liked.
I think the new box set was going to come out soon. I heard about Cyber 6. They're re-releasing it.
I'll watch it. That thing entranced me. I remember seeing it on TV. I was just like, "What is this?"
Deep in my heart, da 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 da. And they're like jumping off things. It's great. Great thing.
I really liked it.
We got Mike T saying, "All right, did I ever read this or saying I don't know how to lose Twitter followers? I think they're just robots." Did I say that? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Your chat went back into the chat. Anyway, you think it's robots. So we must
robots.
Take that.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah, don't take it personally. Unless you're trying to lose them, then it's trickier. It's like, just associate with awful things.
And take that as a victory. Don't take any of this stuff personally. I mean, it's like out of your control. You can't force people to follow you, so it's best not to dwell too much on it.
Sure, coincidentally, we got Matthew Pritchard saying, does anyone know of any good podcasts to listen to while working? Well, it sounds like any of those Nerdist podcasts, especially the writers one, would be really good.
I really like Nerdist podcast.
I like Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, so that's just me.
Yeah, I've been recently listening to Hardcore History by Dan Carlin, which I really like. It's he doesn't consider himself a historian. He's like a history fan, but like he will kind of break down a lot of giant world happenings in a really interesting way. And one of his most popular series is Wrath of the Khans, and it's about Genghis Khan and how his whole insanely giant campaign started and like what it did and how much land he took over, and it gets really, of course, dark, but it's a really fascinating listen. And right now I'm listening to him kind of talk about, because I mean we learned about the world wars in school, but it was kind of very fact, and this is kind of looking at it over a bigger scope of podcast. So if you're interested in history and like a lot of heavier stuff, Hardcore History is really interesting. Listen. What else do I listen to? Gods with Pencils, which stopped, which finished up recently, has a big backlog, which I think you all should check out. They interview comic artists and animators and game developers and comic shop owners and all kinds of great folk, and that's a great place to get good advice and just inspiration and all that. So that's Guys with Pencils on Tumblr. What else?
I know there's Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson if you want to get into some voice work. He's, of course, the guy who plays Yakko Warner, as well as like Raphael in the old Ninja Turtles and Donatello in the new Ninja Turtles. So Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson. He brings in some guests, too. I think he gets like Maurice LaMarche, who knows the Brain, and like a bunch of characters from Futurama. I think there's a Billy West episode. Going back to Kevin Smith, of course, there's a Fat Man on Batman is really fun. And
I enjoyed that one.
The episode I really enjoyed was the one talking with, oh gosh, I just lost her name.
Tara Strong?
Tara Strong, which you'll know as like Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, or Timmy Turner from the Fairly Odd Parents, but talking about her as like I think as Harley Quinn, and just like her story of how she grew up in Toronto, not too far from where we are right now.
Oh.
She grew up, well, maybe a little further than that, but she grew up at like the top of Bathurst Street as
Don't come to our house.
as her parents owned a candy store. That was like the first North American shop to bring in Hello Kitty products or something like that. And coincidentally, she played Hello Kitty in her first animated role. So interesting stuff. So check out Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith, as well as Hollywood Babylon. If you like, if you're gonna end up having to listen to like hear about gossip and Hollywood stories and movies and stuff anyway, you know, from TMZ or something, you might as well get it from these guys because it's Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, and they're just really silly folk.
I listen to Keith and the Girl for the same thing. Sometimes I just want to hear what the weird gossip is, and it's just like, all right, I'll listen to these guys. They're always entertaining.
Well, Keith and the Girl was, I think, the second podcast I ever subscribed to.
Yeah, that was one of my early podcast listens, and I listened to them for quite a long time. They were one of those shows that I was working at my desk, and I had to run from my desk to the bathroom to laugh in a stall because I was gonna like explode with laughing just from some stupid anything. Like it's fun. I really enjoy that show.
Yeah, I'm so behind though. Like the problem with me in podcasts is like because
they do like 3 a week.
Yeah,
it's
like,
their job is podcasting.
Yeah, and like the thing is with me is like I don't really get the chance to listen to my podcasts because a lot of my work is audio based. So like I'm already listening to video, listening to audio.
That's the thing with me too. I can only really listen to words if I'm inking or cleaning up a storyboard. If you're coming up with stuff, I mean, sometimes even music is too distracting. Sometimes you just sit there in the quiet.
We got Andrew Murray saying, I've been catching up on a show called Flapjack. Did you guys ever watch it? I love it. It cuts between animation and live action shots. Wasn't that the one by Alex Hirsch was on that one too, wasn't it?
I think he storyboarded on that out of school.
That was where you got like one of his bigger breaks in work. It was like I thought it was the Something World of Flapjack or something like that. Because there's like the Amazing World of Gumball, which is this weird hybrid of different art styles where there's like 3D backgrounds and 2D characters, but there's also like stop motion characters and animated characters and like 3D animation. And there's this really weird episode where there's this kid who's literally toast, like he's bread. And they dropped him in the pool, and he dissolved, and so they tried to replace him with more bread, and hoping the family would notice. I'm like, this is a weird show. So that's the Amazing World of Gumball, but I haven't watched Flapjack yet, or like anything like Uncle Grandpa or anything like that. There's a bunch of shows that just...
That one looks crazy.
Or what was the one? There's another Cartoon Network one with some kid who's like,
Clarence.
I'm glad that's the description.
We're just like, what is it? He's like, the whole thing was about him waking up at like 4 a.m. and what his day was like, and I was like, this is like Andrew Murray, who's like, who wants to go to the market? It's 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Tweets. I'm like,
Speaking of animated series, there's some interesting stuff coming out about Rick and Morty and the Union.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Serious animation talks. A little while ago, it was posted that like Rick and Morty's animation staff was unionized, and it was like because they were working 60 hours on a 40-hour budget and things like that, and unhappy, and all reasons why you'd get a union supposedly. Like I'm not from the insides, I know nothing. I barely know how union work. I was in a union once when I worked at a grocery store, and that was the last time. The point is. Yeah, and so this is like kind of a big interesting story. Then there was a follow-up story of the producers kind of losing their shit over this. Be it wasn't necessarily Dan Harmon directly, but the other guy talking about how like no one saw this coming, and this union was kind of like out of nowhere, and saying things like if we knew the staff was unhappy, we would have known, and things like that. And it's just like,
come on.
And he hates the union, and then the situation's just gotten now really weird. And I'm just like, interesting.
I think it's important. I mean, we don't have it here, but like. You can get really taken advantage of sometimes, like especially like in your contract. There's the overtime and everything, but I know there's some studios where it's like, hey, I mean, even just hearing stories from people who used to work in Ottawa where a studio would be about to shut down and they wouldn't tell anyone, and then they would be like, oh, we can't pay you this week, we'll pay you next week, and then would shut down and owe everybody money, and just. I don't know. It's kind of scary. So, I mean, I don't know much about unions. We don't really have them here, but, I mean, if it prevents you from having to work 1 billion hours for low pay, then, yeah, please.
Yeah, because once again, that is like the major issue. Is just like that's the state of animation here from listening to guys with pencils. It's just like you're overworked, underpaid, and it's kind of a brutal system. And I don't know if that's the resolution, if that's the way to do it. I don't know. That's one of the ways, by the sounds of it. But it's keep an eye on that. If you guys want to know more about like the business of animation, look up some articles on that. Form your own opinions too. Of course, I haven't read enough to nearly know what the hell's going on. But
we just start topics, so we don't really.
We're the tangential viewing show where we like set you on the path to find.
Like you guys, what's this about? I don't know.
Going a little while back, we were talking about serious animations. We have Sarah Curran saying Young Justice was serious, which it was.
Yeah,
I watched a bit of that.
I haven't seen a lot of those. Again, most of my interest comes when people post screen caps on Tumblr, and I'm like, that looks like a good show. So Tumblr.
I did have my one quarrel with we dubbed them the League of Positive Reinforcement, where anytime a bad guy is foiled, it goes to the secret meeting of the bad guys, and they're like, exactly according to plan. I'm like, oh, come on.
That.
You did not plan for that to happen.
Because they're like, you know what?
It's like we tried to get.
Stepping stone.
We were going to use Bane to do this, but then they turned him, and then this awful thing happened, and our captain lost an arm, and the plane blew up, and we lost all the drugs. And then it's like, according to plan. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Don't turn this into a win. This isn't like an office bingo thing where you can just like flip it. No, it's not like that. It's just like,
it's great because you'll always accomplish your goals if they're fluid.
If they're set so low, like I want my chief bad guys to go outside today, so he sets them on a mission to kill like Young Justice. He fails at that, but it's like, well, he still went outside and got fresh air, so wins all around. I say, I'm just like, okay, shut up.
That sounds to me like a villain base with a union.
Well, no, it's a great work environment. I enjoyed the positive.
It's very healthy.
It's a very healthy environment, but I'm just like, you can't. Going back to Andrew Murray with 0 votes because it's so fresh, so hot off the plate, hot off the presses. Andrew Murray saying, "How does this Rick and Morty union thing work? Because I know Rick and Morty exports its work overseas, cough cough, to Canada. I doubt it affects the Canadian workers in a positive way."
No, it's the American storyboard artists. So it doesn't. I think Rick and Morty's made in Vancouver.
Oh, it is?
I do not think it extends to Vancouver. It's all the LA people.
I don't know. Check out like
I was reading an article about it, and it sounded like it was like this isn't going to affect the Canadian group, but I might be wrong.
That was the bottom line. It's like, but they're still miserable. It's like, oh damn it! Come on, Canada. Oh, Canada. Speaking of which, if you want to make some stuff for Canada, the Byte Mondo contest type thingy pitcher, well, I don't know if it's a contest, but pitch session has opened up again, and the due dates are October 15th. So if you have an animated series or something that's within 2 to 5 minute episodes, no, 2 to 3 minute episodes, this is bite-sized web content we're talking about here, and you don't feel that you want to host it on your own YouTube page and you want someone else to take care of the marketing, then you can look up this Byte Mondo contest and see if there's anything you guys want to pitch. And if anyone here wants to pitch something and wants to promote it on the show, we could tell everyone we know to be like, hey, check this out. I don't know too many people, though. I'm not people who know people. Just say it. But it could be a good chance.
I know some people.
You know people? Katie knows people.
I know a couple people.
Someone was actually mentioning CTN a little bit ago. We got Benjamin Boston. Good old Benjamin Boston here saying, if this will load, I've been planning to go to Burbank, California for the CTN Animation Expo. I also keep hearing there's a lot of animation studios around Burbank. True. Have you been there? Yes. If so, what is it like? Amazing.
Great.
Katie,
I haven't worked there, though. But from what I've seen from visiting friends that work there, it sounds great. But I don't have any actual working experience with the American companies. But, I mean, it does look like there's a ton of stuff, and I really like everybody out there, so someday.
All I know is I like the creation philosophy. The minute I saw storyboard artists were, like, writing the episodes from drawing, I'm like, yep. This is like a creative environment from like it's not as rigid to a certain degree where like everyone can have an influence. Versus like here's the script, do it. You know, I'm like I like it. And also it's just kind of cool that we're just like we were at Cartoon Network, which is like a stone throw away from like Nickelodeon or some other studio. So it's like everyone who's in animation runs into each other at lunch in like the downtown Burbank because they're all there. You know. Just a little drive away from each other, if not a walk. Or stone throw.
Sounds
Don't throw
like
stones in
the
Burbank, though. Don't throw
Yeah.
stones.
Don't throw stones at the animators.
We have insured hands for a reason. We don't want to get hurt.
Mine's not insured.
No? Oh, shoot.
No.
T also says, I'd love to go to CTN Animation Expo.
I haven't been. I really would like to go sometime. Maybe soon. I don't know. If not this November, maybe next year. Oh, but we're planning on doing Japan.
Maybe we'll see if we can get on a trip. Yeah. We also have Louis Nito also saying, actually, if you watch the season finale of Young Justice, you'll know how according to plan it really was. Oh, was it? Indubitably, it was, wasn't it?
So according to plan.
Yeah, it's just like everything they have is in ruins, and he's like, I had an insurance policy on our bad guy base, all according to plan, and then young Robin's like, ah! And Batman's like, I told you were too hasty. You should have waited for the finances to drown out, then buy them out. And they're like, Batman, really? I do like the stuff where like Superman feels really awkward around Superboy because he's like, he's not my son. It's really interesting. It's a good show. He's like, he's lifting buses wrong. I don't want to raise him.
He like punches a villain. He's just like, not mine.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not responsible for this. It's an interesting show. Yaiba's saying, what are you guys planning for Halloween costumes? I don't know yet.
Well, recently I watched Indiana Jones 1 and 3. So, I don't know. I was like, Jerry, if I find all the costume pieces, will you be Indiana and I'll be Marion? So, we'll see if I can find everything. But, like, her in, like, the drinking scenes, I'm going to walk around with a shot glass.
Nice.
Just smash it on the table.
Indiana Jones.
I love that movie. Just Indiana Jones. Those are like my childhood favorite movies. I gotta say, watching again, it's like I kind of have to shut my brain off sometimes because I'm like, why would they do? No, don't bring logic. Don't bring too much logic. But I still love those movies so much. They're so fun. It's one of those things though where it's like, I guess because the villains are just super evil, but it's like when they'll go to such crazy lengths to chase after the hero, and you know they're gonna get killed, and they get killed. You're like, why are you bothering? Why are you climbing all over this truck? You could just also roll off and pretend you got punched, but
yeah, you care about your job too much.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah, I love those movies.
We'll start wrapping up soon. A few final notes.
Yeah.
I guess let's plow through this one just because it can get a little too heavy. I finally finished reading Goodnight Pun Pun by Inyo Asano. Now, if you know Asano's work, Asano has also worked on such books as Solanin and What a Wonderful World, which have elements of, disparaged youth, I guess, and like no hope for the future. And
a lot of if you want to read a comic that's going to make you feel really bad
this
afterwards,
one of those takes the cake. Pun Pun makes you miserable.
Pun Pun is, I think,
a fascinating read.
Pun Pun for me is what for manga to me is what like Chuck Palahniuk in books was for me, where I read like Chuck Palahniuk's books like Invisible Monsters or what was the other one? I read his books and I just feel terrible afterwards. I think it's really well written, but I'm just like, oh god. And that's what Pun Pun is like, where it's you think things are gonna go great, and then they don't go great, and they get worse, and they get worse and worse and worse, and it's psychologically deeper and darker and into the depths of just ultimate despair, but incredible art, beautifully drawn, really fascinating to read. Definitely a mature comic.
It's fascinating.
I'm just telling you, you're not gonna come out of it super happy.
But it's a fascinating read because the main character and most of his immediate family is never drawn as people, where else everyone else is realized humanoid characters. Pun Pun, as the lead, is kind of like drawn as this little bird sketch, this like two-dimensional weird little creature.
Almost like a little Tamagotchi bird, where he's just he doesn't quite fit in with the world.
And I think it works to its favor because he never really talks out loud. He rarely has like a word bubble to him. It's usually more like a black frame of monologue that he does. He doesn't not speak, but it's kind of like it's always suggested like it's narrative, or you're not sure if it's like
the characters will respond to him, and then Pun Pun said.
And it's just.
I would recommend it as a reading if you want to read like a mature story that's just kind of well told. But yeah, really dark. I mean, I'm glad I read it, but yeah, like I was kind of like a wreck the day of, where I'm like, I just need something happy.
Yeah, as you suggested, it's like go read friggin' Yotsuba or.
Well, you'll want to read Yotsuba afterwards. Where it's like, let's go to the farm. You're like, yeah, the farm. Let's go to a supermarket.
We have Glenn saying.
What I'm reading right now is.
Glenn asks, have you read Optic Nerve by Adrian Tomini? Nope.
That's familiar. I'm gonna. Optic Nerve. I've heard about that. We'll write that down. What I'm rereading right now is 20th Century Boys by Urasawa, because I've been on a giant Urasawa kick all month, and I love it. It's so good. He's just such a really great storyteller. His characters are really well fleshed out and fascinating. I love Kana. She's such an amazing character. I love Kenji. He's such an amazing character. It's just good. It's really good. I highly always recommend Urasawa's books. And it's just like a really interesting woven, like there's so many levels and things, and that's why I think his books are really good when you reread it, or if you read it all in one sitting. If it's kind of like when we were reading them, it's like we'd get a new book every 3 months, and I'd forget kind of who a character was or what was happening. But yeah, just kind of reading it all fairly close together is really good. Where did you go?
Grabbing something quickly for a wrap-up recommendations and stuff like that. Andrew Murray was saying a little earlier just about Halloween costumes that I could be the golden idol head. No. I'm contemplating being that guy from Game of Thrones who hangs around with Ingrid all the time, who's just like, Ingrid, we gotta climb a wall.
Oh, the giant? Like, Tormund Giantsbane, I think.
Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
He has a beard, and I'm like, I have a beard, I don't want to shave.
Actually, what I wanted to do is Violet from Rat Queens, the dwarf. I really like her design, so I want to do that at some point.
I gotta read that. Are you done with it?
You're not done Rat Queens?
I started, then I gave it to you.
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's so funny. It's basically, if you like fantasy, and if you like really assholey, jerky, but amazing, wonderful protagonists, like lady protagonist, fantasy wanderers with like kind of a modern language where it's very. I'm not describing this well. It's good. It's fun. it's yeah. I really like it.
For a quick little wrap-up notes, there's not too much else to go on about. If you're a user of your Google Drive or Google Docs, there was always a weird process.
Something just happened.
Originally there was Google Docs, which was basically the original Google Drive. It was just a thing with text, and then they wanted you to upload all your files and your photos and everything. So that became Google Drive. But now they've also separated to make Google Docs separate from Google Drives, but all your files are stored on Google Drives, but you write in Google Docs. Basically, that's finally happened. So now you have to have both, especially if you have them on like your tablets or your phones. It's two separate softwares. But so if you're a predominant writer in your Google Drive and Google Docs, that's basically what's happening. So bear in mind that. So officially, they're separate software now, but they're still connected because it's kind of like everything's stored in Drive. But Docs is where you actually edit them. But Docs also has a menu system, which is a complete mess because it's just everything you've ever written all piled on top of each other with no sorting. So sourced back to Google Drive, which has folders. I don't get it. Anyway, that's fun. Final recommendations. If you guys want to get yourself a tabletop game that's quick to learn and intense to play, and for at least 6 people, which is nice because a lot of games are only 4 players, you're going to want to get yourself Get Bit. It basically the premise is you're all these little robots trying to swim away from this frickin' shark, who's like the shark from Lego, basically. If you can see him in that pack, and basically you're all in a straight line. And you're trying to like swim ahead of each other, and whoever's in the back of the line loses a limb. And once you lose all 4 limbs, you lose, and then the shark keeps going along after other people. Really fun game. Really worth playing. If you guys get a copy of it, you can get probably the cheapest if you're in Toronto. You want to go to 401 Games because that's for like they have a deal with board games for some reason, so everything's nice and cheap. But that means it's cheap for you too, and it's fun for the whole family, and it doesn't take too long to play, and it's really still a good old time.
Yeah, if I can recommend a game, one I wanted to pick up, and I was describing it to you. I played with a bunch of friends recently. It's I think it's called Texas Zombies, and it's kind of a little bit like a role-playing game where you are dealt cards and you have to deal with each situation. And it's like you'll be given a card, and then you'll have items. So you'll always have 3 items, but they are random. So for example, it's like you'll get a card where it's like, oh, there's a mafia guy riding down on a motorcycle coming right at you, and there's zombies with them as well. You have a tube of lipstick, a basketball, and a tuna can. How do you defeat these guys? And you have to, on the spot, come up with some story on how you would actually be able to, like, so first I throw the tuna can at the mafia guy, and he swerves, and then I put on lipstick. Like, you have to just kind of BS your way through how you would defeat this challenge, and then everybody votes yes or no whether you survive the challenge.
And I go for the ludicrous, because I was already thinking of one where, like, you use the lipstick to draw lips on the basketball, and, like, the tuna can is like its neck, and you carry, and you, like, you know, either put it on your head and pretend it's your head, and you push them off to shoot the ball in the head, then you fall down and wait for them to leave, then you get up and run away, kind of thing.
Yeah, and like I would give you a thumbs up for that.
I can bullshit my way out of any ludicrous scenario.
Yeah,
given the
it's really good.
Cool. Actually, we should check for that at 401 Games and see if we can get a copy of it.
Yeah, Texas Zombies, I think it's called.
So Get Bit and Texas Zombies are two games you guys might want to check out yourselves. I think that's just about everything I got. Do you have anything?
Is New York Comic Con coming up soon?
I think it's.
I don't know. We're not going.
Montreal Comic Con just happened.
And SPX sounded like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I don't think there's really any upcoming events. Like, we're not going to Ape. Isn't that like in October or?
Yeah, we're not. This is we finished up our conventions with San Diego, so we're not doing any more until we get this comic done. When we have, I think, when Silly Kingdom's published, we'll try and hit some more, but we'll let you guys know about that. If you're in Toronto, check. I don't know if it's on their website, but the Toronto Taffy, they were giving out tickets to the Box Trolls this Saturday, so if you want to check that out, maybe hit them up on Twitter or see if they have a. I think their website will have a contest where you just enter your email and say, I want tickets to the Box Trolls. Like, I think they're just giving these away to everybody because they want a full theater. So if you want to see it for free, Saturday morning, check that out. Box Trolls.
Cool.
Like, support good animation and good comics.
Cool. Speaking of good comics, this is great comics.
Oh.
One of them goes by the name Silly Kingdom. It's fantastic. From what I hear, it's one of the best comics ever. I don't know, I'm just hearing crazy things. But it's right there also. If you like silliness, magic, and adventure, but not magic that's like whimsy and fun and magical. This is destructive magic in its pure form.
Like, look at this guy, destructive magic.
That's what you want. You want to get some copy of Silly Kingdom. You want to go to sillykingdom.com. You can order that. And upcoming soon will be our second Silly Kingdom, a new steed indeed. All information.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, that will be coming out soon. We'll keep you guys posted on when that's officially released and what other fun stuff will happen at the time. You can also get the complete Shrub Monkeys collection and the book Shanahanigans Shrub Monkeys Volume 1 or whichever way around the titling goes. We're not very good at naming things. But there's that there. You can get that.
If you go on my Tumblr, I recently posted our 18-page comic Tabena Damazana, which was an adaptation of a folktale as part of last year's Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales comic. So I had it on the website crashed, so it's all on Tumblr now. Basically, it's been a while since we've posted anything just because we're so busy, and now that we're working on a new anthology, we were like, let's just put one of the older stories online so people can read it. So if you want to check that out, it's on Tumblr, ktshy.tumblr. In two parts, because Tumblr only lets you post 10 images at a time.
Right.
So,
otherwise, don't think there's any other upcoming events beyond that. Shenanigans Live, if you want all the updates, you want to go to the Facebook page, even though the Facebook page limits who gets to see what, because they want us to pay the money for everyone to see it. But look up Shenanigans on Facebook.
Go to the Facebook page, you'll see it, right? It's just
if you go out of your way to go. Because this show is usually Tuesdays around 8 o'clock. It might be on Wednesdays otherwise. That's where you'll find out. Otherwise, you do want to follow the Twitters and the Tumblrs, Katie Shy, Shaggy Shan, that's me. And, I got nothing else. So,
I'm done too.
Get your Smash Bros going, guys. I don't have a picture of dead Pikachu here, sorry, but you guys distracted me during the fight. But, you can know. But I think on the 19th you guys have your copy, and it's going to be great. And Chris, the host, just joined us on time for us to say good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
See you next week at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Have a good week. Be creative and drink your pumpkin spice. All right, see you around. Bye.
PSL.